welcome to the Death Battle Cast, the only show where people actually die. This time it's actually going to happen, so get ready for that. Like, I know I joke about that all the time, but this time it's really going to happen. So get ready, everybody. The first one on the chopping block is myself. Hi, I'm Ben. Second one on the chopping block is Chad. Hey,
Hi.
that's Chad. Then we
That's
also
me.
got Liam.
I didn't agree
on the
to
chopping
this.
block. And then joining us for the most tense Death Battle Cast of all time, it's Lika. Hey!
Hello.
Sorry,
Welcome.
didn't clarify that before you joined, but oh well. It is called Death Battle Cast, so. But hey, Alika, real quick, do you want to tell everybody who you are?
Yeah,
What's up with you?
I am the Rooster Teeth community manager. Embu is my little bro. I get to boss him around sometimes, but with love. And yeah, so I'm just here to represent Erza and Fairy Tale and do it justice. You guys be doing me dirty, but wasn't my choice this matchup. But I'm gonna come out swinging.
Was it your choice this matchup? No. You said you wanted to do Fairy Tale.
Yes, I didn't say against Saber though.
Oh,
we were universe. Like what even
the one that
fate?
I just want to point out the one that we were gonna do is like a billion kajillion times closer, but we had to change it. Well,
no, what are you talking about?
Okay. Also, Nubia in the chat says, one of my wives!
I love you!
All right, so, yes, we are going to be doing Erza from Fairy Tale versus Saber from the Fate series, whatever the heck that is. I say that because I don't think have we done a Fate character on cast before? I feel like at this point,
maybe Gilgamesh,
I don't remember.
But I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. We definitely haven't brought Fate in Death Battle proper, so this is definitely going to be interesting, as I know next to nothing about Fate. So it'll be learning time as well. That's exciting. Hey, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us, seeing all those awesome badges going up the chat, including the 2-year anniversary badge. Of course, I've said this a few times at this point, but gotta make sure that this is out there at the beginning of the show. As most of you know, Rooster Teeth is closing its doors in May, and for now, we are continuing to post on the Death Battle YouTube channel as normal. However, super chats are currently disabled, and we do not recommend buying or gifting any new memberships for the time being. We're still processing this information in real time, and we'll provide updates on specific plans on roosterteeth.com in the coming weeks. I should also mention, be wary of crowdfunding attempts by third parties with lofty promises. It's like a period of a lot of unknowns, and that's sort of where grifters make their bed. So just be careful about that sort of thing. And if you have any questions about Rooster Teeth in the meantime, you can contact the company via the support page or just hear from us directly on our social media. But we've got a fun matchup to get into, so let's go ahead and talk about Erza and Zebra.
Erza.
I got it out of the way right away.
I didn't do Zebra. I wasn't prepared for Zebra.
No,
Yeah, okay,
I
so
think
Zebra.
we said what was it? Zabre?
Zabre?
How
Yeah.
can you mess up their names badly enough?
Ezra.
Because it's Saber
Ezra
with an
versus
ER, not an
Zabre.
RE. But all right, let's go. Well, you know what? Let's start with Saber. So
Just
Liam,
jump into the Lion's Den. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, you want to do this? We got
right
60
before the-
seconds.
Important update from the chat. Coach Boomer says, I'm eating a bomb-ass calzone. Hell yeah, man.
Nice. I kind of want one.
I haven't
now
had a
as well.
calzone in forever. Anyway.
All right. Erza. No. Saber.
Yes.
Let's talk about Saber.
Okay, so Saber is the spirit of King Arthur. This specific Saber is like a class within Fate. This specific Saber, the most famous Saber, is Artoria, who is King Arthur, who is like the reincarnation of King Arthur from legend, who is often brought back a master, like a human that wields their power, that uses them in fights, kind of like a stand from JoJo. They are spirits. they have their classic, like, legendary weapons. Saber has Excalibur and Avalon, and is just one of the most powerful servants in Fate. Like, it's hard for me to describe, to like give an argument, but without like describing everything about this character. But she is much more powerful of a swordsman than Erza, much faster, has abilities that counter anything that Erza can do, and can literally see the future and learn how to win. It's pretty good for a
What?
sword fight, I would say.
Okay, sure. And yes,
That's-
Liam is repping Saber, and Alika is going to be repping Erza. So
Can I say before I start my piece, you know, everyone's been saying like Saber's gonna sweep this, stomps, whatever. But I just want to take a second to commend Liam for his courage because he's coming out claiming a character whose entire existence depends on her being a servant and having a master against a character who spent her entire childhood being a slave and then fought tooth and nail until she freed herself. Man, that takes balls. So bold, especially during Women's History Month, Liam.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, we got the emotional
Wow.
play going. I'm all here for it. Let's go.
Wow.
Really,
Okay, cool.
Liam?
okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
all right.
Um,
Well,
All right.
topping
Now
that
I
off,
can
tell
get
us about
into-
Erza.
So Erza is probably one of the strongest like female mages in the fairy tale universe. She's the head team of like fairy tale strongest team. She leads them. She's the strongest member. She has certain kinds of magic. So she has Reequipped the Knight, which is her unique ability. She's the only person who has the ability to change armors and weapons like almost instantaneously in battle. No other mage can do that while fighting. And she has over 100 different armors, over 200 different weapons with like unique abilities. She has telekinesis. She's a master swordsman and expert. In fact, it's stated that Saber, although extremely powerful, is kind of mediocre as a swordswoman. Like her proficiency isn't necessarily in her sword play itself, while Erza's expertise and mastery of swordplay. Wait, am I out of time?
Yeah, but
We're out of time.
we'll
That's
keep
it.
going.
That's all we got.
Shit, I have
No.
so much more.
That's
There-
right.
there-
We'll
there's-
get to it.
There's a lot.
I'm gonna
there's a
contest
lot to
that,
talk
like,
about.
that swordsmanship claim.
It's
Because,
actually in the Saber Fate Universe wiki.
Yeah.
So
I have a feat that for sure is a better swordsmanship feat than anything in Fairy Tale, and I know because I also did Erza research for Zora versus Erza, so I know from firsthand experience, having done research for both. There is absolutely nothing in Fairy Tale that compares to Tsubame Geshi.
I don't know, Liam.
Gaeshi,
That
however
sounds
you
pretty
pronounce it.
sexist of you. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
I
what
also
is
have to
Tsubame
say-
Geshi? What are you
Well,
talking about?
I was gonna save it more for the end.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of like
that's
a.
fine.
You just brought it up.
I know, but like,
what are you talking
like,
about?
I like, yeah. I mean, there's not much more to discuss.
I think it's really funny that Liam is also defending a character for a series he's never watched or has no experience with. While I have watched Fairy Tale, all of it, like 5 times.
Oh my God.
So
Wow, that's
Like,
really impressive.
we have a fake fan here versus a real fan. That's another thing. We have somebody defending a character he doesn't care about. I have so much Fairy Tale merch. I got Erza's sword here. I mean, I can just start popping out. I have like figures. I can like go on for days and
Is
show
that
you
2
posters
Erza
and shit.
figures right there?
Yes, there's one that's like an old this one's special edition, you won't be able to find it. And I got like actual figures, I got posters, like so we got fake fan here who's just pulling stuff out, and then we got real fan.
I'm doing my
I
job.
mean, Liam, do you have a?
I would have read Fairy Tale 5 times for research, but I could only handle reading it only once.
Oh.
Yeah. I know it's sometimes really hard for people to deal with like actual depth of character and emotions, so I got you,
Yeah.
buddy. It's hard to deal with that.
Those extremely
sometimes
deep,
shallow
2
things
centimeter
are-
deep cardboard cutouts. It's just, it was a lot for me to handle. I was overwhelmed.
Okay.
But I can get into like feats. We can get into like feats now if you'd like.
Well,
Yeah, go for
I
it.
want to know a little bit about how both of these worlds work,
Yeah.
right? So especially Fate, because
Yeah.
I'm just
Fate
not
is more
familiar with it at
complicated.
all, at least in comparison. And from my understanding, Fate has a bunch of different universes, and there's a bunch of different sabers. Is that true?
It is like okay. I ignore for the sake of this. I ignored, and for people saying that like, oh, it's obviously a stump. I'm ignoring the like Fate Extra, Fate Extella stuff. That's like, oh, these characters are like multiversal because like, why bother? You know. I'm sticking with. I mean, it's hard to say exactly because a lot of
Is
it.
that like a different iteration of the characters where they're like gods or something like that?
They're it's technically okay. Technically, it's all canon. And the mechanics of the series apparently validate you being able to scale through all of these. I'm just literally choosing to ignore the multiversal stuff. I think it's based on like multiple timelines,
Okay.
which are branching from certain
Tommy in the
different
chat
events.
says it's different
So there's lots of
timelines.
information from
Yeah.
certain timelines that does like would apply to any version of Saber. But like just in terms of like the discussion, I'm leaving out like the crazy big stuff. There is a crazy big thing, but I believe it's from Fate Stay Night, which is the original series, and it's like okay, can't really get around that. Uh, so yeah, I'm just choosing to ignore the timelines that are like insane, like really really powerful. Because there's different like the idea is that Saber is being summoned, but it's still Saber. It is still Artoria in each time that she's being summoned. But some different mechanics of the way that she is
So
summoned
each
changes her
timeline has
power.
its own like set of power levels.
Yeah. I think so. There's something called the Moon
Okay.
Cell in one of the timelines, which if you summon them using the Moon Cell, that's a thing that makes them like insanely powerful. But I'm not quite sure about that. I just chose not to investigate anything that reeked of multiversal, so I can't
So
fully.
Saber has a horrible case of identity crisis and existential angst existing in multiple universes at once, probably creating a massive amount of insecurity in her, while Erza just has to deal with being herself. Good to know.
Do you think, chat? Are you swayed by this?
Like poor Saber, just
Yep.
like
Well-
pulled in every and all directions.
I'm curious if the different timeline. So there's something called the Moon Cell that
Yeah.
gives them the extra power, basically. So there is
I
some.
don't want to like say anything too like confidently.
Sure, but,
But-
I basically what I'm gathering is if there's a different power levels and different timelines, then there's something in that timeline or that universe that would add to that, would grant them that additional
Potentially.
power. So
Potentially,
yeah, I think it makes sense to remove that from the equation for now, at least. In a full Death Battle episode, obviously we would go into more detail on this, but just for this, we can focus on the non-moon or whatever stuff. Okay. So with that
Jolton.
out of the picture, what are we looking at for Saber?
Okay, so Saber is there's a lot. The Saber is the spirit of the servant King Arthur. Just in terms of like passive abilities that servants have, servants are not physical beings. They are made of like spirit energy. So they have like the ability to automatically heal like certain wounds. Like Saber was like stabbed in the chest, and then within seconds it was just gone. And she didn't even like exert anything for that. They have automatic healing because they're spirits. They can shift into like a spirit form, which is invisible and intangible, and it instantly heals wounds that they have, and they can shift in and out of that in combat. They can only be hurt by magical weapons, which I think should apply to. I don't know exactly the mechanics of it, but like a regular like sword or something would not be able to hurt Saber, like a physical weapon.
That's
but like
not
a
true.
magical weapon could. I'm just going to assume that Erza's stuff can because she summons it through requip magic. So I'm just going to assume that counts. Otherwise, like again, what's the
No,
point?
Saber can absolutely be hurt by physical attacks.
No, she actually can't.
I mean, didn't she fight? I mean, I know jack shit about the Fate universe, so I apologize. I had to look this up. But she fought against Berserker, who had physical attacks against her.
Who's another servant. Yeah, so
So
he's magical. as
by
well.
that,
still
then
a
all their
magical
stuff is
attack.
magical. Got
Yeah.
it.
I see. Okay.
She has super senses. She doesn't need to like see or hear. She can detect supernatural beings. If she damages an opponent, she can start to absorb their spiritual and mental energy from them, and to make herself more powerful.
Meaning what
because-
exactly?
Huh?
She can start to absorb their what exactly?
Their spiritual and mental energy. So like their soul and their mind energy. Once she's like been
what
able
does
to
that
damage them.
do? Like how? Like...
Well, it kills them.
Okay.
Okay.
She can eat your soul.
It
Okay,
probably
okay.
makes you
She's
real tired
essentially-
first, Ben. You probably get real tired and then die.
So
She's
it's
like
not
a
like-
soul, so she can like
okay.
draw on soul energy, like mana. She can draw on that, and she can draw
Gotcha.
it from other
Understood.
people.
Understood.
Um,
Okay.
her attacks obviously they can cut and damage souls. They can damage spirits. They can even damage conceptual entities. Like regular servants can harm. There's this being that's like literally the concept of a void of nothingness, and they're able to like hurt him. So they are like conceptual beings, in a
Okay.
way. And their luck stats, like like an RPG, it actually passively warps reality around them in order to protect them from harm, which will, in combination with another of Saber's abilities, makes her like insanely difficult to hit.
Okay. So magical spirit entity summoned, only harmable, damageable, whatever, vulnerable to magic.
Weapons. Yeah.
Okay. So with thinking about that, let's move over to Erza and talk a little bit about
Okay.
what she's capable of and what she does.
So Saber's abilities are limited and bound to a master, as I understand from what I was reading, since they are a servant. So basically has certain I know that there was a master that she had because of his ineptitude and like lack of knowing what to do, her powers were incredibly nerfed by that. So depending on what master she has only a certain amount of mana, I'm assuming, or abilities that she can do. So that already limits her with versatility, because Erza doesn't have that. She just has her magical core, her own abilities. And then as far as I understand the magic system, it's funny, Liam didn't mention this, but like her technically has magical resistance. And so I'm like, why are you arguing for Saber? You're here for Erza. But the magical resistance that Saber would have would be tied to the magical mechanics of her universe, which is prana. In Fairy Tale, the magic on Ether Nano, which has a completely different mechanic than prana, comes from within, and it is like a more natural source. Ether Nano is absorbed from the air, and the magical core of an individual is inside them, so type of magic altogether. Furthermore, it's said that Saber has a dragon alignment. She's like a dragon soul or something. Well, Erza happens to have dragon slaying magic. The fact that she now learned high enchant from Wendy. Some people might know this, but this is major spoilers if you're behind in Fairy Tale. But so Urza's mother was Irene Belsarian. Irene Belsarian was the queen. They labeled her the Queen of Dragons and the Mother of Dragon Slaying Magic. She created and invented dragon slaying magic. Ended up becoming a dragon, the Sage Dragon, and she was a high enchantress. Wendy learned the ability of high enchant from her, which she then passed on to Erza, who is Irene's daughter. With that ability, she now has the power to enchant on her weapons any of her comrades' magic, including Natsu's full dragon slaying, fire and power, Gray's ice demon slaying power. She's been known to, in recent 100-year quest, even enchant Jalal's Grand Chariot onto her sword. So she can use the magic of her comrades with this ability. Thus, she actually has a dragon slaying sword that would be able to combat the dragon sort of soul that Saber has. Other things is that like Erza's extremely just physically strong, regardless of like her magical ability, which is known to be immense. Like as a mage, she's known to have a huge magical core. but she's just extremely strong. She's seen carrying things like way over her size, like an entire monster's horn just on one hand. Her mastery of swordsmanship is so much that she can actually use her feet literally in a dexterous way to fight, as well as like she's ambidextrous. So she can use both her hands, both her feet. Like she's crazy when it comes to using swords. So I don't think when it comes to like actual swordsmanship, Saber can rival her on that end. A recent ability that Erza has acquired due to her enchanting, the reason I brought that up is because she can now, in her recent, it's been a bit of time, but her fight against Miyazaki in the 100-Year Quest, Miyazaki was supposedly one of the most powerful, mages in this guild called Diablos, who they're known to like be so powerful that they can kill dragons like it's no one's business. She created a dimension called the Blue Dimension that she dragged Erza in, and this dimension gave Miyazaki full control, ability, and like basically whatever is in that dimension she controls and is weak against her. Well, Erza's ability to high enchant, she eroded her dimension completely by controlling space-time, destroyed her dimension, turned it into a scarlet dimension to her power and ability, and destroyed Miyazaki. So,
Wait, destroyed the dimension?
Yes, she eroded the dimension and completely enchanted it to the point it turned into, from the blue dimension it was, into the scarlet dimension, meaning that it benefited Erza. And she just like one-shotted this character because at the end of the day, she's Erza. What can't that woman do? And that's even like used, like, seriously, she won a fight against one of Tartaros's most powerful demons by having every single sense taken from her: her sight, her hearing, her touch, as well as every nerve in her body was said to like have been enhanced to the point of like even just like a light like wind touch is supposed to be utter agony, and she fought through all of that to kick this bitch's ass. So I don't know. I don't think there's much Erza can't do.
Yeah, I know Urza's tough as hell. And I did see Natsu
endurance,
himself joined the
durability.
chat earlier and said something about, should we talk about Urza's endurance against, I don't remember what the common was, Kayaki or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the character.
Koika.
Koika. Does that mean anything?
Koka?
Sure.
Sure.
A fight that she got, I guess, beat up in, but she kept going.
Yeah,
I'm assuming?
I mean, isn't a lot of fights that she hasn't like just persevered through. The fact that she has extreme endurance and durability, she's like one of her biggest feats, I would say, in my opinion, is like Pandemonium would be something to just show her resilience. She faced 100 monsters in this game called Pandemonium. One of those monsters is an S-class monster, which was known to be stronger than like the strongest wizard there, which is like Wizard Saint level. And then even the weakest monster, which was a D class, was known to be like extremely deadly and powerful. She took on every single monster and defeated all 100 of them, like just by herself, and came out. Like, sure, she was like beat up, but
She did
it.
Has Saber done anything like that?
Yeah. So in terms of like finding like in big tournaments and whatever, she's won 2 different Holy Grail wars, which is where like essentially the reason servants are summoned is to fight each other, fight different servants, in order for somebody to claim the Holy Grail, which allows you to make a wish. Saber's goal, I believe, is to like make a wish to save Britain from falling, from the story of King Arthur, right? Not falling to the Angles and Saxons. And she has to like get over, not wanting to, get over like something being impossible and having to accept that her kingdom fell and whatever. I want to address some of the things that you said. You said that her power would be limited by whatever master that she has. We would just give her the most powerful master that she has.
Yeah.
She can actually be summoned through other methods and can fight without a master, like without anything holding her back. So we would give her that just by
Can
default.
Saber choose like
No, and her master can be killed, so she's weak in that instance. So like Erza could be like, you know what, fuck you, I'm not gonna fight you, I'm gonna kill your master. Okay, now what?
I think. Well, some
she
people are
can
saying
fight
she can
without a
be summoned
master.
without a master, and I
Yeah.
saw people are
Okay.
saying that then she also in that stage that's like her like more normal whatever. She gets like infinite
what
mana
summons
basically.
her then? If there's no master, like she's still being summoned. So how does she appear?
I think it's something called counterforce. Again, it's like a different like force
Okay.
that exists in Fate.
Okay.
Essentially, like for the rules of a death battle, Alika, we wouldn't like give somebody like we wouldn't handicap them with like a weaker
Mhm.
version of them, just as like a rule. Also,
yeah, we would want to take them at their prime.
At their prime, exactly.
But my thought is, if she's tied to a master explicitly, then the master is then involved and could be a weak point. But if the master doesn't have to be involved, I'm curious how
Or
she.
Yeah, or if
is
she's had
summoned,
multiple
essentially.
masters, we take the most powerful one. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, that's what I meant by in the prime. But
Yeah.
like again, if the prime would be no master, then what does that mean in terms of like, is there some
Servants
sort of
have to
connective
have a
force
master.
that Erza could take advantage of?
Okay, it's the planet.
Mm.
It's the Earth, the planet itself. People are saying,
Yeah,
that,
I
AKA
wanted to
the
address
counterforce.
what she said about the master limiting, like she only gets her power from the master. That's actually totally untrue, and you actually talked about it. You talked about the dragon thing that she's connected to. Yeah, she has a magic core, which is called the Red Dragon of Britain, which
Mhm.
is like the spirit of a dragon that resides within her. It protects her from mental attacks. Like if you try to like invade her mind, then a dragon will show up and eat you, and drive you insane just by
Cool.
looking at it.
That's
But
a
it
new.
actually
That's a new
draws-
one. Sorry.
It connects her power to that of the Earth itself. Like literally, the Red Dragon of Britain provides her a direct line to the power of the Earth's core. So that which would just calculating the power of the Earth's core is about 4.78 zetatons of energy. Small planet level, unsurprisingly. Yeah, she would not have any problem with like a lack of mana. Yeah, and her master is not her only power source.
Okay, so you mentioned small planet level. I saw some people talking in the chat too about how Erza can apparently has like a maybe planetary feat. Is it like I've saw a couple things. Somebody mentioned like her
So-
surviving a
So, like
meteor.
a meteor thing.
Yes, so Erza was able to, with both of her legs broken and her arm broken, with a single arm, propel herself hurdled herself to a meteor, destroyed it, came down, and gave her mom a little, got it, babe. So,
How big was the meteor?
so Dway Sema, it's supposed to be like it's calculated, and this might not be accurate. I'm not Liam though. I'm not gonna bullshit and pull stuff out and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. I'll at least tell you that it might not be accurate. I'm always honest. It's
Unlike Liam over here, of
Yeah,
course.
Like Liam over here.
You gotta hurry up. I got a lot to talk about.
It's
I got, like,
calculated
a
to be
shitload more
about
Saber stuff to talk about.
We'll get to you in just a sec.
539 gigatons of TNT force.
Okay.
Gigatons?
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
If not more. And so like, but that was just with her already being injured. So like that was when she had already fought a Spriggan 12 Augiel and defeated him on the same day. She had fought another Spriggan 12 Nineheart. By the way, the Spriggan 12, for people who don't know, are probably like the most powerful mages in the entire fairy tale world up until Alvarez is like what they had met at that point. And then she fought arguably one of the most powerful female Spriggan, which was her own mother, who is said to kind of, because of her dragon abilities and her high enchant, she's kind of like, I wouldn't say on par with Acnologia, but you could like make comparisons, which is arguably the most powerful villain in all of fairy tale. And she had done all of that and then still took on that meteor. So yeah.
Okay. So pretty impressive day in the life of Erza there, for sure.
Yes. And I think because of her drives and motivations are less on like pleasing and protecting a master, which Saber's connection to her master is like what I mean, as far as I know, it's like the master is the one that she's supposed to protect. She needs to have a master. She can't not have a master from what I've read.
She can.
How can she not have a master? Any servant who doesn't have a master
Well,
dies.
so the planet summons her as a defense mechanism, but that's still the planet is the master, quote unquote, in that
Okay, but so
relationship,
are we
right?
are we including like so as far as Fate Stay Night, I believe, and Fate stays Fate Zero, whatever. Oh my god, there's so many fates. I didn't see that, so I thought that's what we were sticking to, but you know, if we're gonna cheat and use other
That's
fates, I guess.
no.
I
I mean,
mean,
if she's summoned by the moon cell, then she's like multiversal. So that's
So
her
Yeah.
best
Are
master.
the planets in Fate like
I-
sentient? Is that what's going on here?
I'm not sure. We can keep the master thing if you like. It doesn't matter. And I have like a lot. Like what I mentioned before for Saber wasn't like Saber specific stuff. It was just describing servants. I haven't talked about
Yeah.
Saber's like powers.
Yeah,
or-
I think we can move
abilities
on
yet.
from the whether or not she needs a master thing.
Okay.
So we can get to what we definitely need to talk more about Fate and what Saber is capable of. I think before we hear about that, we should probably hear about what you can hear through. This is a terrible transition. Chat,
Come on,
let's
I
talk
hit you
about-
up all the time. All right, fine. Doesn't matter because it's one of our absolute favorite sponsors. Because this episode is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon is premium audio at the perfect price point, so you can listen to the tunes you want where you want without breaking the bank. Raycon's everyday earbuds, which are the ones I have, look, feel, and sound better than ever. With optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, these earbuds are extremely comfortable and they will not budge. Trust me, I literally sleep in them every single night. They are aptly named the everyday earbuds because I use them every single day. And they are still going strong. I haven't seen their battery life decline at all. They fit super comfortably in my ear. Like I said, I sleep in them. And they have a great sound. So Raycon offers 8 hours of playtime with a 32-hour battery life. They're priced just right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no wonder Raycon's everyday earbuds have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. Like I said, I absolutely love these. Every time we get a Raycon read, I'm like, yes, because I talk about how passionately I love these things. Yeah, so believe me, everybody needs a good pair of earbuds, and I have not found better than Raycon, so you guys should go check them out. Click the link in the description box or go to raycon.com/cast to get 20% off your Raycon purchase plus free shipping. So that's clicking the link in the description box or going to raycon.com/cast. You get 20% off. Go buy them. I promise you will absolutely love them. Thank you, Raycon.
Lemonade in the chat. I appreciate your 10 out of 10 segue as usual, Ben. That little pity vote. I have to point out I have mine here as well. They are very good. Definitely go check them out if you're looking for
Yeah, Aaron just got a pair too. They were like, "Oh, can we get who gets the next pair?" Because everybody they hear us
Great.
talking about how much we love them all the time. So you will love
All
your Raycons.
right. So let's get into some of this Saber lore.
Yeah.
The
Brian Connell
Sabre
got his
lore.
Raycons yesterday. Sorry, go ahead. Saber lore.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes.
What haven't we talked about that needs to be talked about that you think needs to be
Everything.
mentioned?
All I
Okay,
talked about
okay.
was like servants, like everything.
Yeah.
So Saber has a very high, just as part of her class, very high magic resistance stat. So magic does not she has a passive shield against magic. This includes like energy beams and explosions, literal reality warping, spatial prisons. It wasn't able to work on her, and mind control. So just passively, she can resist magical effects. They don't hurt her. She has an ability called her instinct, which
Wait,
is...
I thought you said earlier only magical weapons could hurt her. What do you mean by magical
yes,
effects?
like a magic sword can hurt her, but if it shoots
Okay.
like a beam or something, it'll be resisted. And yeah, there's magic. If it's strong enough, it can overpower her resistances.
Gotcha,
But
okay.
the
I
magic
believe
is pretty
she
strong.
only has resistance up to A rank magic.
Yeah,
so
yeah. But
Urza is
the fact that she was able to
S-class
block like
mage.
Enuma Elish, which compresses an entire universe into a single sword cut, I think means A rank is
What?
pretty
It's
high.
pretty bonkers.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to break this stuff out. I'll break it out now. So her instinct is like essentially you remember when we did Shazam? We did the Wisdom of Solomon, like a voice that
Mhm.
just tells you like what you need to know. It's
Yeah.
that.
Oh, great. Cool.
It gives her a form of precognition, so she could see like her own death if she does something wrong, or she could see like the pathway to victory. She could see both at the same
Okay.
time. It informs her of an opponent's abilities, so everything that Erza can do, she knows about it just by default. And combined with her like high luck stat, which again like warps reality, she's able to dodge attacks that are literally impossible to dodge. Um, Gaia Bolga is an attack which affects causality, so that no matter like if it's launched at you, it will always strike your heart, no matter what. It just like the universe bends to it, and she was able to dodge that attack.
She was actually damaged by it, though. So to
But
the
it
point
didn't
where
strike
she
her
was
heart.
It didn't strike her heart.
Yeah,
So
she
she's
got
able to
damaged
dodge.
by it,
Yeah.
and by her left hand, and then she was not able to utilize Excalibur because of it.
Okay, so it's not like a perfect dodge kind of thing. It's not like a perfect ability.
Right, but
She
but
can't
it's like
literally
no one's
avoid
ever
any
supposed
attack.
to not make it hit the heart, and just by
Right.
not making it hit the heart, that's crazy impressive because yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
On
because
its
it's
own. Yes.
causality. She's
Okay.
also able to dodge Subami Geshe, which is an attack that it I'll just read off the description. It assaults the opponent from 3 directions simultaneously. Um, uh, Yes, a flash from this world followed by 2 absolutely simultaneous overlapping flashes that disregard the concept of time and space, producing a slashing attack that arrives from 3 different directions. This is the, quote, multi-dimensional refraction phenomenon that transcends speed, dexterity, feint, and many other elements. Again, so it's another attack that attacks you from 3 directions at the same time, without the ability to dodge, like instantaneously. And she was
Okay.
able to dodge that. That's a little better than anything that you have in Fairy Tail in terms of swordsmanship. She can control the wind. In fact, she has her sword Excalibur. Its sheath is called, before she gets Avalon back, I think. She has a sheath that's called Invisible Air, Barrier of the Wind King. You'll notice like
Easy to say.
that when she holds her sword, it's invisible, or it looks like it's kind of like ooh, it's kind of an invisible, glowy kind of thing, because she is literally like surrounding it with wind that is spinning so fast it's refracting light away from the object from her sword. So it literally bends light away and makes it impossible to see it. She can use
I
that
have a
wind
counter,
to like.
or I have a defense against this. So just finish, and I'll tell you.
Yeah. She has a defense. She can use that to like. She doesn't have to just use it on her sword. She can surround herself with it to make herself invisible. It also conceals Excalibur's main ability, which is its laser beam, and can like essentially hide that from being seen. What was the counter to it?
Okay. First of all, also, I can't actually respond to chat, so I'm so sorry, people. I'm not subscribed. So I can't respond. But Z Musco says Saber doesn't have future sight. Her instinct allows her to predict her opponent's movements. It's not future sight. So FYI, thanks for lying, Liam. I hear
Well.
that's in character though. So Erza, when she was a child, she was a slave, as I mentioned earlier. She spent her entire childhood being a slave. She was tortured, and her eye was removed. In its place, she had an artificial eye put in. This eye actually gives her immunity to any illusion or refraction type magic. So she can see through that. Any sort of eye
Interesting.
magic too that like, so for instance, during the Battle of Fairy Tail, Evergreen, there's a character, she uses a certain eye magic to turn people to stone. If she looks you in the eye, like Medusa effect. Erza was able to release herself from this spell because of her eye. And she this is actually the defense she used against Midnight, whose entire magic and ability from the Nirvana arc depends on reflections and illusions and refraction. So like he basically bends reality around him to like trick you into thinking that he's attacking you with certain things, but it's all just really like reflections and illusions. But so she's able to see through it and analyze his ability like real time, see through it and defeat him.
So
So
what would be interesting, that is, I get the like see-through magic and illusions and like all that stuff for sure. I'm wondering, since it's just using wind going so fast it does this, that's like
Yeah,
not
it's not
magic?
creating,
Real
like-
quick,
That
sorry.
work?
I want to pause this real fast because I want to respond to something going on in chat. I'm seeing people say the slander against Liam is wild. Why are you slandering Liam? What the fuck are you talking about, chat? You guys do this all the fucking time.
listen, I was told.
This is what you guys do every week.
Listen, I got bombarded
Suddenly your
by
waifu's at
messages.
stake, and now it's like, oh, Liam is our greatest defender. Oh my goodness! Don't
Listen,
slander Liam.
Bring on the attacks. Bring on the attacks.
Listen,
We'll see how the chat.
I
let's see
got
what the chat
so
thinks.
many messages that told me just slander Liam, and I was like, "What?
Went too
I
hard.
guess." They literally
You went too hard,
that's-
apparently. Chat can't conceive that anybody else slandering Liam but themselves.
The counter I
Dear
would say to that
God.
is what Chat's saying. Is what Chad is saying. Is that the thing isn't creating an illusion. It's just bending light away. It isn't like creating an image of something that isn't there. It's just like literally bending the light particles that would normally hit and bounce off and hit your eye and bending them away. It's not like
Yeah, but
an illusion.
she has a
or anything.
resistance to that because she has a fake eye, so you aren't able to
That would be
be effective with her.
well.
Against
I
that.
know what you're saying. I just like this is what, as soon as like I heard both sides, and I was like, oh, that's this is definitely one of those things we would really have to dig into in Death Battle and be like, is there something similar to that, right? Because definitely I get the like fully believe it'll see through any kind of magic illusion, like whatever. But since it's not magic, she's only using magic to move wind, so it's a natural phenomenon that's bending light. Would it actually work? That's like, I'm sure she might see like magic shimmeries or something, you know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know
if it's still a magical effect, like that
it's-
also gets
yeah.
into the idea that they're two different magic sources and different magic like types. Like, would one affect the other? Would it matter that like, you know, it's invisible through a magic source that technically doesn't affect the fate? We can get into semantics all we want. I do think you got to simplify it to some degree in order for this to work, to make sense. And I buy the eye argument. I think that makes sense too.
Okay. So her main weapon is Excalibur, the promised sword of victory. It is literally stated to be designed to defeat people with the power to destroy the planet. It draws energy from the Earth's core, and essentially what it does is when she swings it with both hands, it produces a laser beam that is like all of her like combined magical energy like focused into a single point, drawn from the power of the core of the Earth, which can just obliterate anything. It literally superheats space around it and obliterates you like at the atomic level.
What?
So,
okay.
Yeah, it's like a really powerful fucking beam. Since we know how powerful the Earth's core is, it's about 4.8 zetatons. So comparing that to the gigaton energy that you mentioned earlier, so gigatons, teratons,
How
petatons,
powerful the
exatons,
Earth's core is in
zetatons.
what context?
No, but Erza's known to have teraton level resistance at least.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know about zetatons, but
It's one of those
Also-
words that it exists.
Let me
but also
let me
what's
describe
stopping
and just-
Erza from just flying away?
Yeah, real quick. What do you mean by power of the Earth or the Earth's core?
Its power is that of the Earth's core. Like it draws
And
power
how are
from
you
the Earth.
measuring this number exactly? Like, what's that coming from? Like the energy that's inside the
Usually,
core?
like the
Is that what
kinetic
you're
energy of
talking
the Earth's core.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Liamness.
about? Okay.
I can pull up the actual calc if you really want to. If you like.
No, that's all you
No.
got.
I mean, I don't think we need to spend like too much time on this. We have plenty of
Sorry.
other stuff to talk
And
about. Like
she
5
can
minutes.
shoot
It's
that,
stated to
or
be able to fight
She fought somebody who
planet
could do
busting
that.
opponents, and I really got to get this. I really got to get this argument out. Like, okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
go
said
for it.
gigatons, teratons, petatons, exatons, zetatons. So each of those is 1,000. So 1,000 million, billion, trillion. Yeah, zetaton is a trillion times more powerful than a gigaton. Like the ability to destroy an island versus destroying a planet. It's a big difference. There's also attacks in the series, or there was a time when Iskander summoned a bunch of holy spirits at once, including Artoria, to stabilize his reality marble, which is we talked about like pocket dimensions, which is a pocket dimension that has a star in it, so it's very big. They were able to use their magic to like stabilize the reality of that reality marvel, like keep it from collapsing. I think divided up among all of the servants that were combining their energy, it would be about a tenth or 0.1 foe, and foe is the energy required to blow up or to do like a supernova. Essentially, that's like the range.
Okay.
So she's very, very powerful. Yeah, Excalibur is really, really powerful.
A supernova.
Yeah.
But you said that was somebody else's ability.
It was multiple servants being used to.
She was a part of it, and everybody did it together. So that's what he's saying. Even just her part of dividing it
it's
by
a level
that,
power,
it would be
not necessarily an ability.
Yeah.
Okay. So she was using the power of Nakama and friendship, kind of like in Fairy Tail. I see.
We all got the power of Nakama and friendship. If you want to give him them, if Saber has a master, she has Nakama. She has power of friendship all the way. There's also Avalon, which is the like proper sheath for Excalibur. It gives her immortality, passive regeneration. Like it's healed blows that have crushed like hearts, cut through people's spines, including death curses, like things that are like if you hit by this, you're going to die for sure. It can also disintegrate and form a field of particles around Artoria. So it looks like a force field, but what it does is it sends Artoria's body to the land of the fairies, which prevents her from being. It doesn't literally teleport her; she's still there, but her body is in a different dimension, and it defends from like any attack imaginable. There's attacks from like higher dimensions.
Can she still interact with the real world while she's in the other dimension? Okay.
Yeah. Alternate realities, and as I mentioned before, Enuma Elish, which is Gilgamesh's big attack, which compresses the universe into a single point and then cuts with that, like can cut through like space and shit. Extremely, extremely powerful. Really, really tough defense.
So if the planet is summoning her, can you be friends with the planet?
That's the chat saying.
And we're all friends
I saw
with
chat
the planet
questioning this.
If we choose to be,
is she friends? Is she friends with the planet? Because if this is coming down to power of friendship, that's a pretty powerful friend.
That's a big friend to have. I have no idea if she actually has a friend bond.
I mean, if the planet can summon her when it's in danger, I would say yes. I don't think
it sounds more like a weapon to me. Like are you friends?
I also thought
your dagger?
We weren't including Avalon, but I guess we're just doing it all.
Why would we not include Avalon?
Because it's kind of broken, and I don't think Avalon is in Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero, which I thought we were sticking to, but like again, there's so many fates, like how can you even keep track of all of that? But if she gets summoned to the what did you say, the land of the fairies? Can't you make an argument that she gets summoned to the land of Fairy Tale, which is where the fairies are?
Damn.
Like
I mean, how are you gonna possibly go to that, Leo?
I mean, prove me wrong. How do you know what the land of the fairies is? Like, so she gets shoved into Fairy Tale land. If that's where she is, well, then Erza's just gonna call all her friends. Good luck countering all of that.
Well, that's nice try. We don't allow that one.
Okay.
I know.
Well, we're in the final 10 minutes, so Liam.
But the thing I would say is that I would say Erza's Nakagami armor, which hasn't been mentioned yet. First of all, she has Wind God armor, which gives her wind resistance and wind manipulation. So, like, with that, she would be able to kind of counter some of Excalibur's power. But the Nakagami armor itself is known to be like the most powerful armor that she has. It hasn't been worn, and what it can do, it's supposed to be able to dispel magic, and actually, so like the attack Nakagami Starlight is known to be able to cut down anything, even space itself, like cuts through space itself. So I would say with that ability, she should be
I actually
able
think
to
the Nakagami
counter.
armor is like the most useful thing Erza has. Like I don't think Erza is strong enough to physically hurt Saber with like the power gap. But Nakagami armor would, because essentially Saber is made of like, she draws from mana and she's made of like spirit energy. She basically is like made of magic. So I think if it's possible that getting hit by the Nakagami armor could like prevent her from like healing like that wound, potentially.
Yeah, I would compare
problem
it to
is-
that blade, the other weapon that, like, what did you say it was called? When well, I'm just gonna
Tsubami
butcher all
Geishi?
of- the one that Berserker has, that the one that damaged her hand.
Gaia Bolga, yeah.
Yeah, that one. So I would compare it kind of to that, but also the fact that it has magical, like the ability to dispel magic and cut through space itself. I think it gives it
Yeah.
even a higher boost. But you were saying like with her resistances to magic, she is weak to anything that has like dragon slaying ability, which Erza does have. She has a dragon slaying blade, Belsarian, which is able to have an advantage against dragons.
I don't
or
know
anything
if
that has a dragon spirit soul, whatever.
Saber is like weak. Also, I don't know exactly. It's possible that could be like a thing that is useful against her.
How
But
apparent
it's
is
like
the
the spirit
dragon
of the dragon
soul
like
thing?
resides in her mind. It's not like she is a dragon, but
Yeah, that's what I'm
it's
saying, like,
possible,
how-
right?
How apparent is it? Like, just when like some hurt things happen, like an image of a dragon appears behind her, or is it just she just not look like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, she doesn't look like a dragon. She just looks
would
like
Erza
her.
have any indication to be like, maybe I should use the dragon slaying thing on this thing?
Well, Erza
Yeah,
will pull out like a shit ton of weapons, pretty rapid fire,
Just to
right?
try it
So if
all?
one thing's
Yeah,
not
okay.
working, she'll try something else. So there's a
She has
possibility
extreme
that
versatility and variety,
Mhm.
which
yeah, there's a
Saber would lack.
possibility that she'll bring out a weapon specifically that could counter Saber early on. That the question is what are the chances of that happening?
Yeah, and that's when we go back
Right.
to like instinct.
Mhm.
Saber would know immediately what the Nakagami armor can do. It would know what every one of Urza's armors can do, and combined with her high luck stat, the ability to like dodge things that dodge sword strikes that affect causality and transcend time and space. She would just dodge,
Or
not to
would
like
potentially be lucky enough that Urza would never pull out the dragon sword or try it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if the luck
I
stat
don't know.
applies to that, but she'd definitely be able to know what was happening, see Urza's potential moves, and then dodge them. So I
But it
don't
doesn't
think
give
that
her future
and with
sight,
as
it
much
just
power
gives her-
as she has, she's also a lot faster.
So that's what I was
servants
about
are
to ask.
stated
Can we
to be
talk
able
about
to.
speed? Like, I would love
Yeah,
to
servants
know.
I
are
do
stated to
think
be able to
Saber
move
is
faster than
faster
light.
than Erza, but I don't think that she's physically stronger than her.
Well, I think with the power of like the dragon, the magic core from the core of the planet, like, and the power of even if you ignore that, like, she has a feat where she used Excalibur to disintegrate the Holy Grail monster, which is like this, like, literally mountain-sized monster. The explosion that when it hit the monster, was like showed up against the curvature of the planet. I think that was calced to 350 gigatons. So like even just like a direct feat without any reference to like before the planet would be a lot stronger than Urza. Not like, leagues apart, but closer.
Okay.
There's also feats
So-
like in between.
Let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. I did see the chat start talking about Yoda tons for Urza and just kind of looking into it. I'm not entirely I don't recall these specifics, but there's some feats that Urza has, or scaling to other characters, that do put her at a large or multi-planet level sort of power set. So Urza is much more powerful than just destroying a meteor.
Yes.
And could potentially compete with Saber's level of power. It does sound to me like Saber's going to have the physical advantage overall, but Urza might have the arsenal advantage if she can get the right weapon and armor out to counter Saber's magical techniques and whatnot. That's sort of where I'm sitting at the moment. I am curious if there is a specific, way to take that to really like finalize my decision on who should win. So hopefully one of these will answer that. Let's go ahead and bring up the answers that you guys sent us before the show. We have some answers from the chat prior to the show. Let's go ahead and bring up the first one.
All right, this one comes from Chris. Erza took down 100 monsters and said sorry to her friends for taking too long. Did y'all see her punch a meteor after having most of her bones crushed? Then kills a dragon? Yeah, okay.
I mean, I guess the persistence of Erza could also be a really good
Very
factor
tenacious.
too.
I
Alright.
would just say that like her durability, her endurance, her intelligence, her versatility, extreme reflexes, strength, like she has so much going for her in one go that I think Saber
She's the complete package.
she is. And I mean, and if we want to talk about that in terms of beauty, it's not even comparison. So, like, somebody was saying, oh, a feminism argument here. I'm going to turn it around and do a complete, like, fuckboy argument. Hers is a lot hotter than Saber. You happy now?
Oh, no. Okay.
All
This
right.
is-
All right.
What do we think, chat?
By any means necessary.
I mean,
right?
I
Wait,
have
we still have the other
sources.
answer. We still have the other answer. Let's go ahead and bring that up.
All right. This one comes from Osmond the Observer. People tend to forget that Saber is a walking nuke, and the only reason she holds back is because she doesn't want to destroy the city. Alter Saber was uninhibited. Remember Salter versus Berserker? Yeah, nuke.
Alter
Alright,
Saber is
very
like her
fun
dark
answers today.
form.
Liam,
Like the Darth Vader form.
Liam, I need to hear your fuckboy argument for Saber. So
Oh God.
go for it.
I
This
would
could be
much
the most important
rather
part.
fuck girl King Arthur than anybody from Fairy Tale. I guess
Oh my
is my
God.
argument.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
like,
I have
intense.
literal links to prove that the entire anime community calls you wrong. I would like you to know that on Ranker, Urza's number 3 hottest anime girl, Saber's 39.
You have
Fucking lame.
stats?
I have
Hell
stats. Watch Mojo.
That's
Top
amazing.
sexiest
Okay.
anime women. Urza is 6. Saber isn't even on the list.
The poll is
drop.
live.
All right.
This does bring up a new factor into the fight.
That's true. Also, I'm gonna read this out, but this does come from the username Natsu, so probably not unbiased in this.
Did you say
Chad, remember?
Natsu?
Yeah, Chad, remember you and Ben promised last episode you'd vote against Liam next time after what he pulled on Peach versus Barbie.
Oh no, you're right.
Convincing argument from Natsu because I was the one that got screwed royally
Mm.
in that episode.
Mhm.
Ask your mom who she votes. I swear to God, I can't go back there and put me in that place. Anyway, that's something to keep in mind. Interesting point.
Okay.
Don't get your phone. I know. Yes. You know what the worst part is? Kira tuned in and was watching, and she talked to me. She's like, I was gonna type in chat that that Barbie should win, but it wouldn't let me. And I'm like, oh yeah, because you'd have to be a member to type. But then I was like, oh, that would have been the one time you could have interrupted me. Like you could have came in here and be like, well, I vote for Barbie. Like, bam, daughter sympathy. Anyway, I don't know if she's
okay,
watching
well, next
right
time
now.
we have
She
a
could be.
mom vote, we'll also have a daughter vote. How about that?
I'll go ask her right now. That's what I'll do. And I'm not even in this one. She won't know either of these characters.
Okay. Let's get the vote in. It's time. Who are you voting for, Chad?
Oh, I'm gonna go ask Kira. Kira's gonna be my vote. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys do that. Welcome,
All
welcome
right.
to chaos.
Okay.
Yeah, who
I
does-
guess it's my
Who
turn
does
to
she
vote.
want to be her hero? A slave that freed herself or a servant to a master?
I mean,
You know, Saber did like rule Britain, right? Like it is still like King Arthur.
Yeah,
Was-
but that was then. This is now.
in the lore of Fate, did King Arthur like just decide to change genders when he died? Like, what happened?
I don't understand that part of it.
Or was it just
Wait,
always
wait.
King Arthur?
I did. I absolutely read something wild that like, so Merlin like was hiding the fact that she's female, and like they magically made sperm from her that then impregnated someone, and then she didn't know that she had impregnated someone with her magical sperm, and I was like, what the fuck is happening
This
right
is checking
now?
off a
What
lot
is
more
this?
fetish boxes than even Fairy
Hey.
Tale is. I don't
It
know.
is,
I
it
think
is.
the
Well, that's
So
because
King Arthur
the
was
Fate-
always a woman, basically.
The
is-
Fate
is-
Yeah.
series is
Okay.
known to be like the creator of the Fates on that ecchi side.
All right. Well, I was gonna vote, but we got into a different discussion. So, Chad.
You can't get on camera right now, sweetie. I asked her, do you vote for Saber or Erza? And her response was, they both sound like anime nerds.
it's true.
And so I said,
True.
pick one, and she just said, or. So, was not helpful. You want to pick one
Okay.
now? Who are people voting? But that's the thing. It depends. Either.
I know, but which one has the most?
Okay.
Well, it
uh,
doesn't depend on who people are voting for in the
yeah,
chat.
okay. So, I'm gonna say,
Well, the chat gets to vote too.
I did promise last week that I wouldn't vote for Liam.
Ah.
So I can't like go back on that. I promised chat.
You're about to knock that.
So I
picture
gotta
off.
vote for Saber, right? No, wait, I gotta vote for Erza.
Oh, you
my
messed
God,
up.
I'm
You
confu-
messed up.
I'm confusing
Stop
myself.
the count.
I'm confusing
Oh
myself.
my god.
So I'm voting for Erza because that's I
That's not recusing yourself, Ben. That's the opposite of recusing yourself.
Kira keeps saying
I
ask the
guess
chat,
so.
but sweetheart, there's already a vote in the chat. They're already voting. So
Chad, I need your vote.
fine. Like I think situationally that like there is a situation where Erza could win with the right armor and weapons and figuring all that out. But I think that the variables of that just more often than not Saber would win out. So I'm gonna vote
Okay.
Saber.
So we got one vote for Erza, one vote for Saber. We're gonna end the poll to determine
wait,
who
what'd
would
you say?
win. And we got
Kira heard me vote Saber, so now she says she votes Erza. So do what you will with that, because she just wanted to contradict me.
Okay,
We've
I love
got-
her.
Fathering a tween is great, y'all. You should all try it, let me tell you.
and with 71% of the vote in chat, Saber does take this win. That's a pretty hefty. You guys weren't convinced at all that Erza might have some of this? Because I feel like
It was the cruelty towards me. It
I did say chat. I did see chat say that only chat is allowed to slander Liam now. That's part of being a
Man,
member, I guess.
The strategy was bad. That
Sorry,
people set
Alika.
me.
I think
They're like, just slander Liam.
That's what they wanted to see.
Yeah, I appreciate that was a pretty hard fought smear campaign. Even most of your arguments were like, well, I did a little looking into Saber and she sucks because of this.
I guess we gotta adjust our membership tiers to have like how the level of Liam slander you can do for each tier. Oh my god.
Kira left
All right.
the room saying, I'm gonna go get on YouTube and I'm gonna stalk your life. And then oh, a screen time request for YouTube time. Now who has the power? Sorry.
All right.
And that's
Well,
just it.
hey everybody,
Anyway.
thank you for tuning in to this episode of Death Metal Cast. Alika, thanks for jumping on
Yeah,
to
thank
Rep
you,
Fairy
Alika.
Tale. It's you could talk about this all day, right? That's what it sounded like to
Oh
me.
yeah, absolutely. Like I actually have recently restarted the series with a bunch of people in my own personal server. So like we're
Oh
the
yeah,
sixth time.
and the 100-year war, whatever it's called, arc is being adapted, I
Yes,
believe, right?
July 2024, it will be airing on Crunchyroll, I believe, and they're starting with the 100-year quest anime sequels coming.
Quest, yeah. 100 Years War is like a real thing. Okay, like real life stuff.
I think you're thinking like, what isn't it the 1,000-year war with Bleach or something?
Bleach.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
that as well, because
Yeah.
they did just do that a couple years back. Yeah. But yeah, like talking about Fairy Tale is awesome. And it's such a fun series to just chat about. So awesome to have you here. Sorry you didn't win.
It's okay.
But
A one in spirit.
yeah, exactly. And Erza is such a cool character. I think everybody loves Erza regardless. So and thank you everybody for tuning in for another Death Battle Cast. We will be back next week. Again, we do this live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Time. And we look forward to seeing you then. Take care.
Thanks, y'all.